Welcome back to another episode of Beauty and the Bolt. Today we're going to be learning how to use the Janome Memorycraft 14,000 automatic embroidery and sewing machine. It's just a mouthful. But we're going to learn to use it, so that's good. So there's two main ways to get a pattern onto a piece of fabric, and it's pretty much screen printing and embroidery. Today's project is going to be this really beautiful dish towel, which is completely my aesthetic. And the best part is that this is a $2 dish towel we got at the dollar store that we threw into an embroidery hoop, popped it into this machine, and within 10 minutes we were done. And this is all done with like pre-programmed patterns and settings inside of the Janome. Alright, so to put the embroidery arm onto the machine, it's easier to do this from the back, which is why I'm here. But all you have to do is gently slide this into place and slide it over until you hear a click, like such. To release the embroidery arm, simply push down on the lever button until it swings out, and then help it settle into 90 degrees. Now that our embroidery arm is in place, we're going to flip the machine on. And we're ready to go. Next, it's time to load our fabric into the embroidery hoop. This can be a little tricky, but wrestle it, and I swear it's easier than wrestling like an alligator, so you got this. So remember that your hoop is going to sit like this in the embroidery machine, so I like to lay it out like this as I'm doing it, just so that I know to align my fabric correctly. And I'm going to take out the center insert. Make sure your hoop is loosened, which is this screw right here. If you're using a cotton or a stretchy fabric, you're going to want to use backing paper, which is a firm paper that gets torn off at the end of the embroidery process. But if you're on something like a towel or on canvas, you can skip it. Make sure your fabric is straight and aligned to where you want it to be, and put the insert back in. I tend to tighten this down a little bit to start with, and then I will go through and pull this tight. You want to make sure this is as tight as possible so that the embroidery needle doesn't get caught on anything. Once the fabric is nice and taut, tighten this screw all the way down. Next, you want to put the machine into embroidery mode. So to do that, you're going to hit this embroidery button and click OK. You'll see the embroidery arm move and the menu come up. The important thing is that the needle and the carriage will lift up, allowing you to slide the embroidery hoop in. Gently slide it under the needle and foot, making sure not to catch anything. Use the locking mechanism to secure the embroidery hoop in place. I want to line up my design so that the woman is standing at the pattern at the bottom. To do that, I'm going to use this alignment grid. So I'm just going to slide it on. Now I'm going to go select my design. So I want to go into Designs and find the design I'm looking for. Click the button on the top left to see all of your options. The one I want is in World of Embroidery, but you should feel free to browse. So I've picked this one. This window is telling you the hoop size that you need. Luckily, I already knew that, but you're welcome to pick a design before loading up your hoops so that you know what size to use. The hoop name is printed on the hoop, so you shouldn't have a problem. Click OK, and now it's time to load up your thread. So what this screen is telling you is that these are the 3 colors you need for your design. You're obviously welcome to change the colors and use whatever you want, and you can also change the colors within the program, but we're not going to go over that today. I've got my gray, my black, and my red all ready to go. Now I need to line up her feet to the top of roughly where the pattern is. On my grid, that's about the 2nd row, so I'm going to set that here in the software. We're going to hit the home button on the bottom left, and then this grid. This will let us slide and drag our pattern to wherever we want. So in this case, I want it to be on kind of the 2nd row of squares. So I'm going to take this pattern and drag her to there. You can also move it with the arrow keys at the bottom. Now, make sure to remove the grid before you go any further. Next up, it's time to thread the machine. I've already loaded the bobbin, and the bobbin won't change from sewing mode to embroidery mode. So if you've already got it set up for sewing, you should be good. Hit OK, and that'll take you back to this menu, which you've already seen. Note that the first color is gray, so it's time to load my gray thread. To load thread, you're going to want to open this top piece and take out any of the thread that might already be in there. Wind that up to be respectful to the next person. I'm going to tilt this up, place my thread on, put its little hat on, and now it's time to thread it through the machine. This is just like basically any other sewing machine if you've used one, but if not, there are convenient little numbers printed on that will show you where to go. You're going to first go around 1, all the way around for number 2, down for number 3, and then around this metal thing for number 4, and down and into this holder for number 5. And now here's the awesome part about this machine. It'll actually self-thread for you. So what you're going to want to do is put it in this little mechanism here, and then come just cut the excess thread off on the side. So to auto thread the needle, all you have to do is click the key in the bottom right corner, and that will lock down the foot. Then just click this handy dandy auto threading button, and it'll pull the thread through. And there, you're threaded and ready to go. Afterwards, just make sure to click the lock button again to unlock it. All that's left to do is hit the start button and it'll run the first color. Oh. Every so often the thread will miss when it's trying to start, and that's okay. Just all you have to do is rethread and try again. There we go, it caught this time. As you can see here, it's done 150 out of the nearly 6,000 stitches. And if you want, at this point, you could turn it up to go a little faster. All right, so the first color is done, and you can see here on the screen that is now asking for the second color, which is black. So I'm gonna go load this just like I loaded the first one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the 10 dual commandments.
And once you're all threaded up, just hit start again. All right, so we've done black. It's time to go on to the last color, which is our beautiful accent color, and it is red. All right, so swapperoo this out. Out comes black. In goes red. In with the red, off with her head.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And actually, because the red is so small, I'm gonna turn the speed all the way back down again. And here we go. And voila! Your beautiful French lady standing under the Eiffel Tower on a dish towel is complete. So now it's time to unload the machine. So we're gonna hit the home button, hit OK, and remove the hoop just like you put it on. So twist to unlock, and gently slide it out. And now you've got your beautiful embroidered piece. So the next step is just to get the fabric out from the embroidery hoop. So as you can see, the feet landed perfectly on this pattern, just like the grid told us it would. And so you've got your beautiful final product here. And there are so many designs you can pick from on this machine, and then you can of course design your own and load them onto the machine. So don't let the fact that you don't like French ladies in Paris scare you off, although you're wrong. Hopefully this helped you learn how to use the Janome Memorycraft 14,000 automatic embroidery machine and sewing machine. Check us out on YouTube if you want to see more cool projects that we make and tutorials that we create. As always, this is Zyla from Beauty and the Bolt and Andrew behind the camera. Peace out, I'm going to Paris.